Right now, get up to 15% off select storage solutions. Put heavy-duty HDX totes to good use, protecting what's important to you. The solid, impact-resistant design prevents cracking, and the clear base and sides make items easy to find even when the totes are stacked. Find select shelving and tote storage up to 15% off at the Home Depot to organize every room in your home, from your garage to your attic. Visit HomeDepot.com. How doers get more done.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Listening to this podcast instead of doom scrolling? Smart move. Another smart move? Getting help from one of State Farm's 19,000 local agents when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
The Box of Oddities.
Oh, you're so handsome. I miss you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Kat is dog sitting and she's at another house. And so we're doing this over the interwebbles, and hopefully it all records well. We'll see. So this is, you're staying at a very nice house. And have you gone through their nightstand drawers yet?
You know, the other day I had heard something, and so I had to poke my head into a room that I hadn't been into before. And I realized that that's probably a very unusual thing for house sitters / dog sitters. Like, if I don't need to be in the rooms, I do not go in them.
That's just wise, especially when you really like the person you're helping out.
Right, yeah. Also, what if I mess something up? Or, you know, like, I am someone who would, like, accidentally knock over a bottle of ink, you know, because everyone has ink wells.
Yeah, right. Sure, I get it. Now, you actually steam cleaned her sofa at one point. Did she even notice that?
I don't know. I don't know. But you know me, once I get that steam cleaner out, I cannot stop.
Oh, my God.
Anything that's fabric, I'll get it. I'll get it good.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's one of those ones you can put over your shoulder. It's kind of like almost a backpack steamer, similar to what the Ghostbusters
It's absolutely like that.
And so she wanders around with that. I ain't afraid of no stain.
Nope.
Yeah. Well, you want to give this a go?
I wish that we would.
Okay.
I've got some landscaping to do, so.
Okay. Before we begin, I do have to give a quick content warning because this episode does include discussions of suicide, murder, and mental illness. So if these subjects are difficult for you, you may want to skip ahead and listen to Kat's story. Unless, of course, it includes discussions of suicide, murder, and mental illness, and then just don't listen at all.
No, mine's a very nice story.
Okay. This is a story about Franz Nopcsa. He was born into Hungarian nobility in 1877 in what is now Romania. The Nopcsa family owned castles and estates. They had servants, the sort of life that suggested predictability. Aristocrats were expected to inherit things.
I have to tell you, this is very exciting for me because I've been getting photos from Romania all week.
Oh, that's right. You're dog sitting for another person who is actually in Romania.
Yeah.
Wow, it all comes together.
It does.
This aristocratic life included inheriting things, managing land, attending the right dinners, but Franz looked at it all and apparently decided it sounded unbearably dull. So that's where the story begins. And the story begins with a rock, or more accurately, a fossil. In 1895, Franz's youngest sister, Ilona, found a strange fossilized bone in their family's backyard at the estate. And most people would have called in an expert and moved on with their lives, but not Franz. Franz decided he needed to become an expert on this, so he threw himself into paleontology with an intensity that bordered on obsession. Because they found bones in his backyard, he studied in Vienna and eventually became one of Europe's most respected authorities on dinosaurs, which is awesome.
It is.
I want to party with that guy. At the time, dinosaurs were often imagined to be gigantic, sluggish reptiles, oversized lizards that simply happened to go extinct. But Nopcsa wasn't convinced. Looking at the fossils from his family's land, he argued that many dinosaurs had lived active, complex lives. He even suggested They cared for their young, which was unheard of at the time, and that some displayed sophisticated behavior. And he even proposed that at least certain dinosaurs were warm-blooded. And that was deeply controversial at the time.
Sure.
And didn't become mainstream until decades after his death. And I have to be honest, I didn't realize that there were dinosaurs that were warm-blooded. Did you know that?
No.
That's new to me.
They're all terrible lizards.
He also noticed something peculiar about the dinosaurs from the ancient island that once existed where Transylvania is today. That they were small, not baby dinosaurs. These were adults, and he proposed that isolation on islands could cause large animals to evolve into smaller versions of themselves over generations. Conserving resources makes sense, especially when food is limited. Today, we call this phenomenon insular dwarfism. And it's a well-established evolutionary principle, but that was like way ahead of its time for him to be thinking along these lines. He was a brilliant man. So, of course, for anybody who is ahead of their time, many scientists thought he was just chasing fantasies. And that happened a lot in Franz's life. Sometimes he was spectacularly correct, and sometimes equally as wrong. And he rarely seemed bothered by the difference. Outside the museum, he cultivated the life of an explorer with almost theatrical enthusiasm. He became fascinated with Albania, which around the turn of the 20th century remained one of Europe's least understood regions by Western scholars. Instead of hiring guides and remaining comfortably distant, Nopcsa immersed himself in Albanian language, customs, tribal law, and local politics. He traveled on horseback through mountain regions where outsiders could disappear without explanation. And depending upon the circumstances, he dressed as a shepherd or a local tribesman to avoid attracting attention.
So do we think that Nopcsa was maybe a little obsessive?
He clearly was. And he would disguise himself partly for safety, but partly because he genuinely wanted to understand the culture from the inside. He wanted to see it through their eyes. Now, this is Europe before the First World War, and it was a place where empires were wobbling and borders felt unstable. Albania declared independence from the Ottoman Empire in 1912, and suddenly one very practical question did emerge, and that was, well, who's going to be the king?
Yeah, that's always what I'm wondering.
Franz thought he should be. Several European powers floated candidates. Noble families maneuvered behind closed doors. Diplomats treated the entire nation's future like it was some sort of a strategic chess game, and somehow Franz decided he belonged on that playing board. And so he genuinely pursued the Albanian throne. And not just as a joke, he wanted to be the prince.
Well, I'm sure he knew a lot about it.
That was just it. He cited his deep knowledge of Albanian society. It made him uniquely qualified to rule. That was his argument.
And very often, immigrants to a land will know more about that land than the people who were born and raised there because they have to. Especially
in his situation where he discovered and researched it from the inside out. He cultivated relationships with influential leaders and sought international support for his candidacy. Ultimately, he was not named prince. Whether he ever had a realistic chance depends on which historian you ask. Most conclude that it was unlikely anyway. But unlikely isn't the same as impossible, and that's kind of where he lived his life, just in that narrow space between impossible and unlikely. Several accounts claim that he considered solving the financial problem of kingship by marrying a wealthy American heiress. This is what his plan was. He was going to become the king and then marry a rich American heiress and run the monarchy that way.
Amazing.
He had a good plan. Now, whether this was a fully formed political strategy or one of his many speculative schemes, it's difficult to pin down, but that's the thing about Franz. And it gets even stranger because somewhere along the way, he became involved in intelligence work. So apparently being a prince and a world-respected anthropologist / archaeologist, an expert on languages, he also needed to be a spy. During the years surrounding World War I, Nopcsa gathered information in the Balkans for Austro-Hungarian authorities. Intelligence work did fit perfectly into the life he'd already built because he spoke multiple languages.
Sure.
He knew isolated mountain communities. He did travel constantly. He was comfortable operating under assumed identities. He was already living the sort of life that spies usually invent, cover stories and stuff like that. And then there was Bayezid Doda. Doda entered Nopcsa's household as a young Albanian servant, but over time their relationship became something much, much deeper. Today, historians broadly recognize them as a romantic couple. They were partners, although they lived in an era when such relationships had to be largely concealed. They traveled together for years. They worked together. They shared adventures that probably would have terrified most people. And Nopcsa even published ethnographic work based partly on Doda's knowledge of the Albanian customs. For decades, through scientific triumphs, political dreams, dangerous expeditions, and sadly financial disasters, they stayed together. But time has a way of shrinking even the biggest lives. After World War I, the Austro-Hungarian Empire disappeared, aristocratic fortunes collapsed, much of Nopcsa's wealth evaporated, his political ambitions failed, his finances gone.
Was the financial insecurity just from running out of funds? Did it have to do with the country as a whole? What was the deal?
It had to do with the collapse of the Austro-Hungarian Empire.
I see.
And a lot of aristocrats lost their fortunes during this time period. Now, he did suffer from chronic illness, which is bad enough, but then all of this happens and his depression sets in and it becomes worse. It becomes crippling. By 1933, the momentum that had carried him across mountains and through royal schemes pretty much ran out. And then came the ending. It's one of those endings that changes the tone of everything that you've heard about this guy. On April 25th, 1933 in Vienna, Franz Nopcsa shot his lifetime companion, Doda, while Doda was asleep. Accounts from that time indicate that he gave Doda a sleeping draught, perhaps intending to spare him the awareness of what was about to happen. He then shot him with a pistol. Afterward, Nopcsa wrote farewell letters, and he explained that he did not want to leave Doda alone to face hardships after his own death, and then he turned the gun on himself. It's an explanation that appears in the historical record. It isn't an excuse. Whatever despair consumed him, whatever fears or distorted sense of protection he believed he was acting upon, Doda was denied any choice in his future.
Oh, that's awful.
Nopcsa spent his entire life chasing extraordinary possibilities. He imagined new kinds of dinosaurs before scientists could see them. He crossed dangerous frontiers looking for cultures other Europeans barely noticed. He entertained the possibility that he might wear a crown. He reinvented himself so many times it's hard to settle on a single description of this guy. Aristocrat, scientist, explorer, spy, political dreamer, all of those fit. But the final chapter strips away every romantic layer that might otherwise have accumulated around a life like this.
It makes you start to wonder if his constant searching for the next thing was trying to fill something emotionally in him.
He couldn't be his authentic self, he felt. A person can make lasting contributions to science while also committing a horrific act.
Yeah.
History doesn't separate people neatly into heroes and villains nearly as often as I would like it to. Sometimes it leaves us with somebody like Franz Nopcsa, and a very sad ending. I wish it ended differently. But up until that point, he had quite an amazing life. He was an eccentric person who just acted upon what his desires were. He wanted to be an archaeologist. He became one. He wanted to be a linguistic expert. He became one.
It's a great example of why I support the idea of a universal basic income. I think that there are so many people with untapped potential because they're just focusing on survival. And if that wasn't the case, think of the amazing things that we could see and do and find in each other.
You know, it's funny you mention that because I was just thinking about how fortunate we are to be able to support ourselves doing something like the Box of Oddities, something that we love. And the idea of going to work for somebody, living paycheck to paycheck again, makes me angry. It's like we were tricked at a young age to think that this is what we need to do.
Yeah.
We need to work every day, no matter what the job is, just to pay what bills you can afford. And then there's still not enough.
And they're going to ignore all of your good suggestions.
Yes. Which ultimately led to us quitting and starting this podcast.
Thanks, guys.
My source information, The Dinosaurs of Transylvania by David B. Washampel. Dinosaurs, a very short story from David Norman, and the Oxford Dictionary on National Biographies, and the entry on Franz Baron Nopcsa.
Well, that started off fun.
Yeah, well, don't say I didn't warn you. Since we moved back from Ecuador, I've stepped up my fashion game. Trying to buy clothes in Ecuador was a challenge for me because everybody's so tiny, you know.
Were known in the neighborhood as being melon head.
But in Spanish.
Cabeza de melón.
So since we've been back, I've been repopulating my wardrobe and updating it, and I've been doing it at Quince, and I love everything they have.
Your blue shorts that you got from Quince, they're just the right length, so you've got a little bit of that Magnum PI thigh going on, but not too much, and they always look good, even if I don't fold them right away. Just stay in the laundry for a while.
Yeah. The best summer pieces are the ones you end up wearing on repeat, and those shorts, one of them. Comfortable, versatile, and somehow right for almost every occasion, without the traditional retail markup.
I have a perfect linen dress that I got from Quince because it is lightweight, it's breathable, it looks good. I just keep reaching for it in my closet.
You get quality, you get affordability, and they also have bedding and bath products.
Quince isn't just clothes. But man, do I love their clothes.
Make your summer wardrobe feel easier. Go to quince.com/oddities for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns.
Now available in Canada too.
Yee.
That's QUINCE.com/oddities for free shipping and 365-day returns.
Quince.com/oddities. Well, if you know anything about us, you know that we have weird eyeballs.
We sure do.
And so it's important to us, if we're going to have to wear glasses, to look good.
And you know me, I'm frugalicious. So I will sometimes put off buying new glasses because I don't want to pay for them. But that is not a problem anymore because of Zenni. Zenni is an online eyewear shop. Prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light lenses, starting at under $30.
And we have just ordered our Zenni glasses.
It was super easy. You go to zenni.com, pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they ship right to your door.
And they start at under $30.
No appointment, no store, no upsell at the counter. You don't have to watch someone wait for you trying on glasses.
Over 150,000 five-star reviews. And if you've never bought glasses online before, Zenni has a virtual try-on so you can see exactly what your frame is going to look like on your face, or in my case, my big fat face. What I have found is that I can't wear the round frames. It makes my face look fatter. I wear the rectangular frames that are a little more oblong.
You look beautiful in anything that you put on your face, but Zenni sure does help. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now's the time.
Go to zenni.com/podcast and use code podcast15 for 15% off your first order.
The styles do sell out, so don't sit on it. That's zenni.com/podcast. Promo code podcast15.
And now, that thing in the middle.
And now, news from the past. Real stories that really happened.
December 12, 1932. In Norfolk, England, lives an old woman with 20 spoons. The handles of twisted silver. 10 small spoons are made of the fingernails of her late husband. 10 large spoons of his toenails.
August 26, 1929, off Ocean Park, California, one Porky Jacobs sat in an anchored floating barrel, stuck out his bearded face after more than 100 hours, and announced himself World's Sit in a Floating Barrel Champion.
Congratulations, Porky. April 28, 1932, in Biloxi, Mississippi, the United States Marshal was ordered by a writ of sequestration to seize and bring into court a 75-ton dead whale, as to the ownership of which there was a legal contest.
Meanwhile, on November 26, 1934, in Manville, New Jersey, boisterous wedding guests pelted Joseph Loika and his bride with rice, knocking Joseph Loika out with a well-aimed 5-pound bag. They quickly revived him, and he sped off to his honeymoon. Congratulations, you two.
April 28, 1923, in Manhattan, a 250-pound woman laughed herself to death over the cinema Clarence. With news, I'm Katrina Walls.
And I'm Jethro Gilligan Toth.
Stay informed.
Stay safe.
And stay tuned for more updates.
Thanks for listening.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
Did you know Sam's Club isn't a store? It's actually a club. With cool finds and like a whole community. It's a club.
Of course, Jason. It's in the name. Sam's Club.
Oh, yeah. Come join us. Sam's Club.
So of all the episodes you've heard in the past few years, which Box of Oddities episode would be your absolute favorite? Take your time, we'll wait. This is the Box of Oddities.
I'm actually going to let you choose what my topic is today.
Oh, really?
I have a couple ready to go, and
you
thought...
braggart.
I know. I know. I've been dog sitting, so I haven't had all the laundry to do.
Well, okay, so I reach
I
in
have
and-
one in each hand.
Okay, I'll take this
You'll
one.
take that one. What does it say?
It says H.
H.
Or I, depending upon how I hold the paper.
It's H.
Okay.
And that stands for happy accidents. I just learned that Bob Ross's grave is located at Woodlawn Memorial Park in Gotha, Florida.
It's a happy little grave.
It's about 40 minutes from here.
No kidding.
It's a peaceful cemetery not far from Orlando where fans often leave art supplies
Of course.
as tributes. Bob Ross famously declared, "We don't make mistakes, just happy little accidents."
Oh.
This philosophy encouraged artists to embrace the unexpected and adapt their creative process instead of discarding imperfect work. Now, I personally truly believe that more of life should be approached this way. Mistakes are happy accidents, inconveniences are adventure opportunities, and failed experiments can be incredible inventions.
Yeah, it makes me think of that type of pottery that they break and then put it back together again with gold seams so it creates a whole different piece of art, but it comes from broken pottery. I can't remember the name of it. But taking something that is not perfect or something that is broken and then using that flaw to make it a unique piece of art. I love that idea.
Kintsugi, I think, is how it's said.
Okay.
On YouTube, you can find artists who do this work, and usually the artists that I follow, they do it very silently, and it's just this beautiful process, and you're just listening to the materials make their natural noises, and it's very soothing.
So it's ASMR for you.
It absolutely is.
Okay.
Some of humanity's greatest inventions weren't really invented at all. They were happy accidents. In some cases, the inventor spent years trying to solve one problem, only to discover they'd accidentally solved a completely different one. We've talked about this before. Silly putty is a great example.
Yeah, what was that originally designed for?
Wallpaper cleaner.
Yeah, cleaning wallpaper.
But teachers discovered that kids loved playing with it. So then it became silly putty.
I love the smell of silly putty. Whenever I smell it, it takes me back to Christmas when I was a child.
Oh, that's nice.
Because I always got a little silly putty egg
Braggart.
in my stocking that Santa left.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
One year I got a stick. That's not true. In 1879, chemist Konstantin Fahlberg was working in the laboratory at Johns Hopkins University, studying compounds derived from coal tar. Coal tar had become a surprisingly rich source of new chemicals and dyes and medicines. One evening, Fahlberg became so absorbed in his experiments that he completely forgot about dinner. He was very late for dinner. And when he finally, snapped out of it, he scuttled off, got to dinner, sat down, but forgot one important thing: washing his hands.
Uh-oh.
So when he tore off a piece of bread and took a bite, he noticed something very strange. This bread was incredibly sweet. Now, what I think is very sweet is that he didn't say anything right away. He wasn't like, babe, what the hell is with this bread?
Right.
No, he was just like, maybe we're trying something new. This is great. It kind of tastes like metal. At first, he assumed that this was just a bread that had been sweetened. Then he wiped his mustache with his napkin, but the napkin tasted sweet as well.
Huh.
So he was thoroughly confused. He picked up his drink. The water tasted like syrup. And that's when it hit him. It's not the food. It was him. He later recalled tasting the tip of his thumb and discovering that it surpassed any confectionery I'd ever eaten. Then came a very non-OSHA approved kind of moment when he abandoned his dinner, went back to the lab, and began tasting the contents of all of his beakers.
Yeah, that's generally frowned upon.
Don't do that. The evaporating dish on his workbench is where he identified the mysterious sweet compound. He would later admit, luckily for me, none of the containers had any corrosive or poisonous liquids.
Yeah.
That compound turned out to be saccharin, the world's first widely used artificial sweetener. Roughly 300 to 500 times sweeter than sugar, while containing essentially no calories. Ironically, this was not an immediate sensation. Saccharin really took off during World War I, when there were sugar shortages, and that forced people to look for alternatives.
That makes sense.
Decades later, in the 60s, it became a household name under the brand Sweet and Low as a dieting, low-calorie food as they surged in popularity. Then came another twist. In the 70s, researchers found that high doses of saccharin caused bladder cancer in laboratory rats. Congress required products containing saccharin to carry a warning label, and for many years, people assumed that the sweetener was dangerous. But researchers eventually discovered that humans are ever so slightly different from rats.
Really? I don't know. Based on some recent news stories. Anyway, go ahead.
After years of additional research, the cancer warning was removed in the year 2000, and saccharin was officially taken off the list of substances reasonably anticipated to be human carcinogens. The story worked out okay, but wash your hands before dinner, please. Okay, now.
It's like Bicycle Day. Remember that story? The guy was experimenting with LSD, and he got some on his hands. I guess he ingested it at some point by mistake, not knowing what he was doing. And he rode his bicycle home, tripping balls. Now there's Bicycle Day to celebrate that, I guess.
That delights me. I just watched the Drunk History about Timothy Leary and his prison escape. It was really fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, now we're tootling to the 1950s. Modern design is all the rage. Homes are embracing bold colors and futuristic furniture and new synthetic materials. Inventors are convinced that plastic is the future of furniture. Enter engineers Alfred Fielding and Mark Chavan. They had what they thought was a brilliant idea: textured plastic wallpaper. Not wallpaper printed with bubbles, wallpaper made of bubbles. To create it, they sealed 2 plastic shower curtains together in a way that trapped hundreds of tiny pockets of air between them. And the result was a soft, squishy, 3-dimensional wall covering unlike anything on the market. And people hated it. Mm-hmm. It was a huge failure. But rather than giving up, the inventors started asking a different question. If it's not good as wallpaper, what is it good for?
Ooh, bubble wrap.
Well, first they tried greenhouse insulation.
Okay.
They thought, okay, the trapped air bubbles will help retain heat while still letting sunlight through. It was effective, but not that many people need greenhouse insulation.
That's true. It's a very narrow market.
So for a while, the invention simply sat there until in the 1960s, the computer industry began taking off. And computers being huge and expensive and surprisingly fragile, companies needed a lightweight way to protect delicate instruments while shipping. You are correct. Bubble wrap.
Blam.
It finally found the job it was meant to do. One of the earliest major customers was IBM. Suddenly, what had been a failed decorating product turned greenhouse insulation became the ideal cushioning material. Trapped air absorbed the shocks, it weighed almost nothing, and was inexpensive to manufacture. It protected countless fragile products and probably saved millions from ending up in the trash after breaking in transit. It also, however, became part of our growing dependence on disposable plastics. So, you know.
It's also fun to pop.
Yes.
I've spent more time than I'd like to admit popping bubble wrap just alone in my room by myself. The sun slowly sinking over the horizon. In the distance, a dog barks. The river people call for my death.
Lonnie Johnson was an Air Force veteran. Lonnie Johnson was an Air Force veteran and an aerospace engineer who'd worked on projects for the U.S. Air Force and later at NASA, including work related to the Galileo spacecraft and stealth technology. In his spare time, he loved to tinker. One of those side projects involved creating a more efficient heat pump that used water instead of conventional refrigerants. So it's 1982, and he's testing a prototype in his bathroom. And Johnson connected a nozzle to the system and turned it on. Instead of a gentle trickle, he got this powerful jet of water blasted across his bathroom. Most people would have cleaned up the mess and gone back to work, but Johnson had a different thought. Well, gosh, that was fun. This would make a fun toy. So he built a rough prototype from PVC pipe and a 2-liter soda bottle. He called it a squirt gun. And when neighborhood kids tried it, they absolutely loved it. Convincing a toy company, though, was another matter. Several companies turned him down before Laramie agreed to license the invention. And in 1990, they released it as the Power Drencher. It's a terrible name. And
well,
I worked in a convenience store that had an adult film section for a period of time.
I see. Well,
and that's the first thing I thought was that is behind the curtain kind of material. The following year, it was rebranded as the Super Soaker. And that name stuck. Also kind of sounds like behind the curtain stuff. But
yeah.
The toy became an instant phenomenon, topping sales charts and launching an entire line of products. Over the years, Super Soakers have generated over $1 billion in sales, making them one of the most successful toy inventions ever. It was an invention that was recognized as an accident that could be something else.
I worked at a radio station in Tucson many, many years ago, and we had a general manager who was really good at creating a fun atmosphere. Mm-hmm. And every Friday, he would fill a trash can with ice and cans of beer and arm himself with a super soaker, and you had to fight your way in.
I love that idea.
Isn't that great?
That is wonderful. One time, one of my managers told me he didn't get me.
Ah. There you have it.
We've really had different work experiences.
and life experiences, it seems.
In the early 1990s, researchers at Pfizer were testing an experimental drug called sildenafil.
Uh-huh.
Do you know where this is going?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
I mean, maybe.
You sound very familiar with this product. Is that...
Maybe. I don't know. Let's find out.
They were looking for a treatment for angina, chest pain caused by reduced blood flow to the heart. The drug was not particularly effective. Then researchers noticed that the men participating in these clinical trials kept reporting an interesting side effect popping up. Even more telling is that when the study ended, many of them were reluctant to return their unused pills. That got the researchers' attention. Instead of abandoning the drug, they shifted their focus entirely. They realized that they had a very uplifting discovery. Sildenafil wasn't a flop. It was just pointed in the wrong direction. The researchers realized that sometimes success pops up when you least expect it. The research that seemed to be a failure ended up giving people massive success. The drug was reworked, and in 1998, it was approved under the brand name Viagra.
Uh-huh.
It quickly became one of the best-selling prescription drugs in history.
Of course it did.
And transformed the treatment of ED around the world. It's proof that sometimes when science doesn't get the result it was expecting, it still rises to the occasion.
This is a little known fact, but Dr. Seuss wrote a book about this process.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It was called One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Pill.
That doesn't rhyme at all.
No.
Idiotic.
That's why it was rejected.
Sure.
Immediately.
The common thread in all of these stories isn't luck, it's curiosity. And let's be honest, cash. Every one of these inventors noticed something unexpected and instead of tossing it away as a failure, pivoted. Largely because they had the cash to. But,
that helps.
It's the curiosity part's important too. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs don't come from getting the right answer. They come from paying attention to the wrong one. Happy little accidents. Happy little pill accidents.
Mm-hmm.
Happy little blue pill accidents. You know what I'm getting at.
I do.
I got my information from todayinside.com, Smithsonian, Wikipedia, obviously, National Inventors Hall of Fame, and an article from the National Institute of Health called The Rise and Fall of Viagra.
Interesting
which
title.
I thought was a little cheeky for the National Institute of Health.
A bit cheeky. We did a commercial for that on the podcast a number of years ago.
Blue Chew.
Yeah, that was the name of the product, which that's what it was. It was a Viagra type product.
Won a Webby for it.
Yeah, it actually won a Webby award for Best Podcast Ad because it started this way. This next erection could be the most important erection in your lifetime. And then we started talking about hanging chads and...
showing up strong at the polls.
Right.
Being bipartisan.
And we worked in the word caucus a lot, too.
Yeah.
Pretty much wrote itself. Anyway.
So if you know anyone who needs an ad written, mostly about boners, let us know.
We're award-winning boner spot writers. Thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. TheBoxOfOddities.com. We look forward to hanging out with you 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and then on Friday, it's either a inbox of oddities or sometimes a Freak Family favorite.
Sometimes something completely random that even you couldn't expect, but it's a happy accident, a happy one.
We'll see you next time.
Until then, keep flying that freak flag.
Fly it proudly, you beautiful freak.
And so, let it be known that the Box of Oddities belongs to you, and its fate is in your hands. The Box of Oddities commits to the telling of stories of the strange, the bizarre, the unexpected, we wish to offer our deeply felt gratitude and appreciation for your patronage. TheBoxofOddities.com. Copyright 2026, all rights reserved.
Athletic Brewing Company crafts award-winning non-alcoholic beers for those who want to be part of every round. With over 185 flavor awards, they're exceptional NA beers that fit your lifestyle and any social occasion. Summer's full of good times, and Athletic fits right in. Go to athleticbrewing.com to have brews delivered to your door, or find them at a bar, restaurant, or store near you. Near beer. Athletic Brewing Company. Fit for all times.
Close your eyes, exhale, feel your body relax, and let go of whatever you're carrying today.
Well, I'm letting go of the worry that I wouldn't get my new contacts in time for this class. I got them delivered free from 1-800-CONTACTS. Oh my gosh, they're so fast.
And breathe.
Oh, sorry. I almost couldn't breathe when I saw the discount they gave me on my first order. Oh, sorry. Namaste.
Visit 1-800-CONTACTS.com today to save on your first order.
1-800-CONTACTS.